Hello. Hi, Aspirants. We'll wait for a few more minutes till more people join in. Meanwhile, how are you all doing?
How is your snap preparation going so far? You can share it in the comment section. Hi, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. So, how many of you are freshers or work-ex?
We understand it's like the middle of the week, right? And all of you may be busy with so many things, and yet you're taking out time to be here. So, thank you for that. We want the session to be as interactive as possible so that it could be very beneficial and helpful to as many folks as possible. So, please do feel free to use the chat box, the comment box.
So there is a very interesting comment in the chat box. A bit shaken up after CAT. It's fine, it's okay. It was just an exam. Don't take it to your heart. Just prepare for the rest of the exams that you have ahead and have full confidence and faith in yourself.
Yes, but it's so understandable as well to be shaken up, right? I'm sure you may have been preparing for CAT for your B school entrance examinations, and we also heard that CAT has generally been on the tougher side this year. So we can imagine how you might be feeling. We were there on the other side of the screen just a year ago, so it's understandable that you're feeling shaken up, shocked rather, right? But take your time, digest it. And I'm glad to know that you are looking forward to Snap. Yeah.
And we were also in your place last year. We know what it feels like to have your B school exam not go as well as you had expected. And in this session is all about how you can look forward to your preparation, how you can prepare well for the next exam, that is SNAP. So we are looking forward to all your questions related to SNAP, related to SIBM Pune.
Also, we would love if you could be a bit more interactive in the comment session because we are all here to solve all the doubts that you have. One more thing I can see is I am a fresher, so that's not a problem. Out of the four hosts that we have today, two are freshers. So we'll be able to solve or clear all the doubts that you have today.
And aspirants, a single bad day cannot decide your fortunes, but a single good day can make it good. Trust me.
Yes, thank you for sharing that, Shuddha Sattu. I mean, that is so motivational, and all of us here feel the same, right? Sometimes some days go bad, some days are good, and just keep at it. We are all here for you, right? We'll introduce ourselves along the way, but we just want you to know that we are here for you. So yeah. Okay, so I can see a lot of questions coming in. So before that, why don't we introduce ourselves a little bit so that you're not talking to a bunch of strangers, right? So I'll start with myself. I am Pooja R. I'm from the Aspirant Relations team of SIBM Pune. Talking about me, I'm from Kerala. I'm settled in Bangalore. I have a very different career path. I have done my BTech in computer science. I work for 2 years at Deloitte as a business technology analyst. I have also done my master's in psychology and I'm a practicing counseling psychologist. Yeah, and now I'm here. I'm specializing in human resources. Yeah, that's a little bit about me. Moving on, let me welcome Gayatri to introduce us.
Yeah, thank you, Pooja. My name is Gayatri Patil. I have done mechanical engineering from Sardar Patel College of Engineering. I am also part of aspirant relation team as Pooja is, and we're looking forward to solve all your doubts, all your queries today. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Muskan Diman. I have done my BTech in Computer Science and Engineering from NIT Hamipur. And after that, I've worked as a software engineer for close to 4 years at an IT firm. That is a little bit about me. Let's move to Shudho.
Good evening, aspirants. My name is Shuddha Chaudhary. I come from Kolkata. I've done my bachelor's in information technology engineering from IIM Kolkata. Currently, I'm studying sales and marketing from SIBM Pune, and yes, I am a member of the aspirant relations team.
So that's a little bit about us. Meanwhile, we'd like to know a little bit about you all, right? So some of you have mentioned that you're a fresher. What about others? Are you a fresher, student, going through a gap year, work experience?
Anyone coming from a diverse background, something like architecture or English or something like literature or history, something like that, or maybe a UPSC background. Yeah. Anyone having more than 1 or 2 years of gap years, please type it down.
So I can see one question, all are engineers. So that's not the case at SIBM Pune. This is just the four of us are engineers, and it's just a coincidence that is happening today for this meeting. But at SIBM Pune, we have people coming from diverse backgrounds, people coming from architecture background, from arts, commerce. So we have people from diverse backgrounds. Is that not the case? That this is a common perception in the mind of every aspirant that like MBA B schools, top B schools only prefer engineers. That's not the case. Here, because of the diversity that we have more learnings, more interactions, and that's how the connection and the networking goes well here. So that's not the case, just a coincidence.
Yes, I absolutely agree with Gayatri. I mean, thank you for pointing out. We notice now only that all of us are engineers here. It is an absolute coincidence. And yeah, I mean, if you look at even if you look at our placement reports from last year and the years before that, you will notice the kind of backgrounds that we are from. So there is a very healthy mix. And in fact, if you look at this panel, you can see that there are two freshers, one with a gap year. There are two work experience folks, so there is a balance there as well, right? So yeah. And in the comment section, I can see that one of the aspirant is done science in 12th, PMS HR graduate with a gap year. So yeah, that seems to be such a diverse and wonderful profile.
So, aspirants, we would love if you could put your doubts and queries, whatever queries you have, in the comment section. So, there was this question about coffee with SIBM. I could read somewhere. So, it would be better if you could please elaborate the doubt that you have regarding coffee with SIBM so that it gets cleared here.
And meanwhile, while you're posting your queries, I would like to share that I do understand that many of you here may have already attempted CAT, and some of you have already shared that you're shaken up. Some of you may feel that it has gone well. Some of you may be like, huh, it's okay, let's see, right? So this particular session is for all of you, right? And one thing I want to highlight is that CAT is never the end of the road. It is a big misconception that CAT is the only exam that takes you to a good B school. In fact, I have personally done really well in CAT. I've gotten a very good percentile, gotten good calls as well. But I chose SIBM Pune over other colleges because I felt that my return on investment is better here. So similarly, don't go after a tag, right? Really do research about all the B schools and then make that choice, because there are many amazing colleges out there which you can access even without CAT. One of which is, of course, SIBM Pune. So yeah.
Thank you, Pooja, for that. But before deciding about which college to join, you first need to crack the SNAP examination properly. So, any doubt you have about how to solve the paper properly, or how to get used to the paper, or what kind of strategy you must use during the D-Day, anything you have, kindly question us, clarify all your doubts, and give your best shot.
Okay, I can see a question on, is it possible to get good score in Snap from here in the next 15 days? My answer to that question is yes, it is possible. Right. Many of you may have already attempted CAT. So that means that you have a fair level of preparation already when it comes to the different topics in the syllabus. Now, if you look at the syllabus, of course, there's no fixed syllabus when it comes to CAT or SNAP, right? But there's a huge overlapping area. Just like a Venn diagram, you will see a huge level of overlap between the syllabus of CAT, SNAP, and other B school exams as well. So that means that you have done your preparation well in many, many topics already. So in the next 15 days, what you can do is you can really analyze what are your strong areas, right? What are your weak areas, and how do we go ahead with this? One other factor that I would like to really highlight here is the fact that Snap pattern is very different from CAT, right? So in the next 15 days, what I would urge you to do is try to do as many mocks as possible in the Snap pattern, because it's 60 minutes and just 60 questions. So try to find a variety of mock papers in the Snap pattern, and then that will give you a fair level of understanding on where you stand.
Also, I can see one of the questions regarding coffee with SIBM and the location. So, to speak about that in a very elaborative manner, we are doing coffee with SIBM at 5 locations this year: Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, Lucknow, and Ahmedabad. And this is our 18th edition. Um, the question is about the exact location of Mumbai. So it's at Ajivasan Hall, Jutara Road, Santa Cruz. So you can search it on Google, Ajivasan Hall, and you can please visit us for coffee with SIBM. On Mumbai, it's happening on 3rd of December. So mark that date also. And dress code. So there is no specific dress code that is to be followed from your side. So yes, you can come in any decent dress. That will be fine.
And don't forget the coffees on us, right? It's absolutely free of cost as well. So yeah, we are actually looking forward to meeting all of you in person, and we are very, very grateful for the amazing response that we have received so far. So looking forward to meeting.
Also, to add into what Pooja said, that we also are going to conduct one quiz, and we also have exciting goodies for the winners. So also keep that in mind and do visit us.
And as we all know, there's nothing better than physical interaction, getting your doubts solved in hand, and having that networking with other aspirants. That will really add value to your preparation as well as the journey beyond that. So do come to this all the CWS events, make the best use of it, and network with more people.
Yes, rightly said, as Shudhu Shotto has already mentioned, that the interaction, the networking is he'll be able to do with the aspirants and also with us. That will give you an edge and understanding about the life in a B school, and what all opportunities and what all understandings or what all learnings that you get from a B school. And I think that would be a point wherein you will feel motivated, or you will feel that drive within you to just go and prepare for the other entrance exam. So consider this as one of the motivational spot or motivational event, and do come and visit us. Any other questions regarding Snap, or even regarding CWS? Uh,
Yeah, I can see a question on verbal strategies. I'll start off by sharing my views on this. So, verbal for me personally has been my strong area, right? And one thing I want to highlight here is that everybody has their own strong areas and weak areas. So, focus, like, try to score as much as you can in your strong areas. And this is also a question that I've gotten from a lot of aspirants, even over LinkedIn, how to improve our verbal ability skills, how to improve in that particular section. So one basic strategy that I'll share is to read the newspaper, and that is the most unpopular answer. And I'm sure a lot of you would have rolled your eyes by now, just listening to that. But very honestly speaking, it is very important and will help in the GE and PI as well, which is there after SNAP. Now, reading newspaper, if you find it boring, you can read things that you like. If you want to read a fiction book, right? Or if you want to just go through a blog, that is also completely fine. Apart from that, learn at least 5 to 10 words every day, and try to retain it if you want. I used to have a journal that I used to keep for myself, and every day before going to sleep, I used to revise those words again and again so that it's imprinted in my brain, and try to use flaunt those words in your conversations with your friends, and amaze them as well. So these are some strategies that I used to follow. Then of course, doing as many sectional mocks as possible can help a lot here. In fact, use technology wisely, because there are so many mobile games that are there which give you word of the day, which helps you solve so many crosswords. So that can also be very helpful in this.
Adding to what Pooja said, I'd like to mention one thing, that choose your genres properly, because you must have a mix of genres while practicing. You can take few from biology, maybe from psychology, maybe for philosophical things, maybe history, maybe a bit of science fiction. Everything adds value, and when you are in the exam time scenario, these all things sum up and adds to your experience over there.
so I can see one more question about GK. So no, GK doesn't come in SNAP exams. We only have a verbal, logical reasoning, and cons. But there's a but here, as Pooja and Shuddha has rightly mentioned, that reading newspaper is one of the most important part that you should start doing right from your preparation phase. Because believe me, once you enter MBA, just being good in soft skills or just being good in academics doesn't help you that much. You should be active, or you should be generally aware of the concepts about the recent happening in the industry, recent happening in the country, because the business decisions that you need to take, the strategies that you need to build, even for marketing, even for HR or operations or finance, any field that you choose, it's very mandatory that you should know what is happening in the world, for to build those strategies, to have those kind of learnings, to work in that profession. So that would happen only once you're very proficient in general knowledge. It's not about knowing everything, but it's about trying to know what is happening in the society or what is happening in the market right now. So that could happen if you start reading newspaper. Reading newspaper could give you a chance of improving your vocabulary, like Pooja mentioned, and it will also give you a chance to improve your GK. And there are other sources also available on the internet which would be really helpful for an individual to improve his or her GK. So GK is not a part of SNAP, but it is very important part of your life in your personality. So you should practice that.
In fact, talking about GK, Adding on to what Gayatri said, during our summer internship processes, while we were sitting for the internship interviews and all, GK was of so much help there, right? Because we need to be aware of what's going on. I'm not going to elaborate on that further, but one thing that I will go ahead and say is that if you have an inclination towards any specialization, for instance, right? Another way that you can go ahead is already trying to gain awareness towards those specializations through websites or through articles. That's also something that you can try out if you have the time. But at least as of now, the basic would be at least reading the editorial in the time that you get.
So someone has asked, what is the right number of attempts for the SNAP examination paper? I believe, the difficulty level of the paper keeps on varying. So you cannot have a predetermined number of questions which you should attempt. But in every section, since you can navigate the sections, since there is no sectional cutoff as such, your aim must be to maximize your score, attempt the easy questions, then move on to the moderate questions, and maybe if you have extra time, then go to the hard questions and maximize your score. That's the best strategy. And your percentile depends upon the entire level of the paper and the performance of your fellow mates as well.
Yeah, so for all the questions related to percentile, right, there is no exact fixed score because it actually depends upon the difficulty level of the paper as well, right? So we won't be able to exactly share a score, but at least for SNAP, what we can share is to get into a college like SIBM Pune, which is the flagship institute of symbiosis of SNAP, right? We would recommend you to aim for 98 to 99 percentile and try to at least get a minimum score of 40, like just as a benchmark. It keeps on varying because SNAP is a dynamic exam, but just as a benchmark you can keep that.
So there is one question which I can see. Tell us about the resources for SNAP. So I would like to recommend you one thing. More than resources, what is important is you clearing the basics of all the topics that are going to appear in the exams. So more than resources, what is important is you getting acquainted with the difficulty level of the paper that you're going to attempt. For example, last year SNAP was pretty doable, but the con section was a little bit hard. Like the questions were tougher as compared to the other last year's in which the SNAP exam has been held. So in such cases, you should be able to solve that number of questions in that amount of time. So for that, what is important is you clearing your basics. Um, for cons, I would like to suggest one thing, that speeding up your calculation is very important in exam like SNAP, because SNAP demands you to solve more number of questions correctly in lesser amount of time. This is the basic structure in which SNAP exam has been designed. So you need to learn the art, practice the art of solving those questions in that particular amount of time only, which would be possible once you practice. Your calculation should be very easy. It should be it should be done in a very lesser amount of time. Sometimes I face this situation because I was there on your side last year only. Okay, I was able to solve the question. It was not the fact of me not being able to solve that question, but I would require more amount of time because of the calculation, because of the intensity of the calculation that the question was demanding, and because of that only the question used to take 2 or 3 minutes to be solved. But I don't have that much time to invest on that question, even though I know that I'm going to get marks for that question, for that one right question. But I also need to understand that other questions also have equal weightage, and maybe those questions would be easier. So what I need to plan and what I need to do is, first need to choose the questions that I'm going to attempt correctly, and second need to be very quick into the calculation part. So I think if you can work on this, it will be really great for you. It will be really easier for you to attempt the quant section specifically.
So aspirants, what kind of strategy do you use for your normal mocks, and what are you looking forward to using during the real SNAP examination? Please write down to us.
Meanwhile, while you share your strategies with us, I would like to share one strategy that I used to use, and it is in line with what Gayatri just mentioned. It's called the bucketing method. So basically, what we do is we take each topic, right, and we put it into different buckets. There are three buckets. One is easy, second is moderate, and third is hard. So the best part about Snap, right, which is a huge USP that you can definitely use, is the fact that we can navigate between sections, right? And there's no sectional cutoff, which means that you can really utilize your strengths. Now, try to understand which are your strong areas, which are the easy sections for you, and try to take all of those questions first. Then you move on to the moderate ones, then you go to the difficult ones. And, as Gayatri mentioned, being too attached to a question is not going to get us anywhere because all of the questions carry the same amount of marks. We are not going to get any additional mark for a question, right? So you can try this and meanwhile share your strategies.
So you can see one question about strategy for DILR. My strategy for DILR was about solving the easier questions first. Because when I started preparing for DILR, because initially I started preparing for CAT. So the DILR in CAT is way different from DILR in SNAP. Some topics are similar, but some topics are different. And the difficulty level is also different for SNAP and for CAT. So the strategy that I used was first to solve the questions that are comparatively easier or the questions that I feel I am able to solve in that stipulated time. Also the questions about arrangement. So arrangement was one factor when if you invest it comes with two or three questions, I guess. So if you invest a lot of time on arrangements, circular or sitting arrangements also, it, if you invest a lot of time and then you're not able to solve, you're not able to get answer to that questions, you start panicking because it has already taken a lot of time and you're not able to solve those questions. So I would recommend keep this kind of questions to the end and solve the sets that you get in DILR at the end. And the easier one like series, number series, logic based questions, or questions that can be solved by drawing a diagram, direction sense questions. So these are the questions which can be solved in 30 seconds or maximum 1 minute. So those are the questions that you need to solve first and keep the little bit tragic questions at the end.
Yes, actually, adding on to what Gayatri said, she mentioned certain easy areas. I want to highlight here that, you need to find your own easy areas. Like these may be topics that would have been easy for Gayatri or me, right? But for you, it may not be a comfort zone. So, through attempting mocks, you'll be able to understand your comfort zone. One more fact is that, you mentioned DILR. So, here I would like to highlight the difference in CAT and SNAP pattern. In Snap, right, DI is not along with LR, right? So that is a huge difference which is there. So as I mentioned, there is a huge difference between the Snap and CAT pattern, and you may come across questions which you first think that, hey, isn't this supposed to be in the verbal section, but it's in the LR section. Hey, isn't this supposed to be in the LR section, but it's in the cont section? So it is like it is a little mixed up, and that is the pattern of it. So the reason I'm sharing this is because you shouldn't be surprised on the D-Day when you're seeing these questions and you're taken aback, right? So familiarize yourself with the kind of questions first. Another very simple strategy, I don't know if it's exactly a strategy, but a trick that I used to follow is I used to practice critical thinking in other ways. Like for instance, in my free time, I used to try Sudoku, right? Or I used to do these puzzle based games on my mobile phone, which is fun, but at the same time, it's just training your brain to think critically. And as you're nearing the exams, that's what you want. Just like you exercise, go to the gym and exercise, right? You need to train and exercise your brain to think along those lines. So if you want, you can try things along that side.
So adding on to what Pooja, there are 60 MCQ questions. So I try to utilize every answer properly. I used to gauge through and navigate the four answers and find out which are the most suitable answers for a particular question, and then decide upon solving it or not. For example, in LRDI, quite a few times we will have a set. We'll have four questions on the set. Don't just read every question, the entire set. Go through the four questions. Find out if you can solve some questions orally. It will save you a lot of time, and every question carries 1 marks. So you'll get that 1 marks and move on to the next question. Maybe if there is some hard question, you can come back later on. Similarly, the same strategy can be used for DI as well. For DI, some of the questions, some of the options will vary a lot. For example, one option is 8, one is 10, one may be 18, one may be 25. If the options are not close enough, then you can do some back calculation and find out the right answer. So use your options properly, be attentive during the exam time scenario, and be calm and composed so that you can utilize those things properly.
So my strategy was a little different. The way I divided my time for the SNAP examination was a little different. So I used to keep verbal section for the end because I knew that I had accuracy. And for me, I was able to solve verbal questions very easily. And I knew that if I had taken up any difficult question towards the end, like if just 10 minutes are left, right? I don't want to take up anything difficult because obviously that is a very panic situation when you are giving the SNAP exam. So I used to keep the verbal section towards the end so that even if I am in the panic situation, I know that I will be able to perform that accurately. So that is the strategy that I used to divide my time properly.
So there is one question which I can see about the um attempting how many questions. So there are no certain like hard and fast rule about solving questions. The only important thing that I would like to mention here is don't try to mark any answer to questions because you just have to complete the paper, or you feel that okay, just mark anything abruptly. If I get it right, I would be getting marks. Understand this, that you do have negative marking in SNAP exam too. So it's very critical because the kind of pattern that SNAP has, and with the kind of um, pattern that SNAP exam has, we have to understand that it is very important for you to answer the questions very accurately rather than just abruptly answering those questions. So I would like to recommend this to all the aspirants here, that please answer the questions only when you are sure of them. And even if you want to take a wild guess for solving any questions, take it with a bunch of smartness. Don't just abruptly go on marking those questions. Be smart and understand that there's no hard and fast rule that you have to complete the 60 questions only, or you have to complete 50 questions. You have to plan the strategy for yourself by giving more number of mocks. When you will start giving mocks, and when you will understand, okay, by solving this question, this many questions, and with this strategy, I'm scoring 45 marks, for example. But with this strategy, I'm able to solve 46 or 47 marks. So, okay, so I'll go with this strategy. So that is something you need to figure out once you will start giving mocks. So mock solving and also analyzing those mocks is the main thing here.
Yes, I think Gayatri has answered, indirectly also answered one of the questions, right? How do we judge if a particular question is solvable in 40 seconds? Answer to that is always practice, right? Through practice only will be able to know which are the areas that we are strong in, which are the areas which are relatively easier for us and takes lesser amount of time. So really, gauge yourself, understand yourself. Something else, another question that I see is, do art students get weightage? I won't say that your profile makes a huge difference, very honestly speaking, and it's a very positive thing, at least according to me, because what you're judged for is what you're bringing to the table right now. So your past is not going to define completely, right? We have folks who have even 3 to 4 years of gap. We have folks with so many different undergraduation degrees like arts, psychology, philosophy, medicine, and so on and so forth. So it does not add a lot of difference. But how are you utilizing that now? With that particular background, how are you able to bring yourself right? What are you bringing to the table? That is what is going to make a huge difference.
It's the best part of SNAP, which differentiates it from other MBA entrance examinations, is a student-friendly examination. We don't judge the students on their weaknesses. We focus on their strengths, and everyone has an equal opportunity, whatever may be your background, to score and maximize your score and get a chance to get into SIBM Pune. We make that a point in our selection process as well. That's why we don't have a sectional cutoff as well. You have 3 attempts, you can give all 3 attempts, you can figure out what is the strategy that really works for you, and then come up with a better strategy in the next examination. So I would suggest just utilize all those things properly, give mocks, give 1 or 2 attempts, and figure out what really works for you. Because maybe I am strong in quants, I want to do quants first, then go to LRDI, then maybe come to English. But if you're from a background of English, you must be focusing on that properly. And for example, quants is not strong. Someone has mentioned that his quant went really bad in the CAD examination. So in Snap, that will not be the scenario. Don't focus as quant as one particular section. Take the entire paper as a whole. You have to maximize your score out of 60, not out of 20. So make that a point. Try to maximize your score overall. Even if you just answer 10 or 12 questions in quant, and if you can maximize your LR or DI, LR or VA, you have an equal opportunity to get into SIBM Pune, maybe 98, 99 or above. So just utilize those things properly and find out what are the basic differences between Snap and other examinations. Focus on Snap for the next 10 days and you'll definitely come out with shining colors.
So one of the aspirant has asked that I'm very weak at choosing the question. How do I judge if I'm really choosing the doable one? So again, this will come with practice. The more mocks you give, the more you will familiarize yourself with the topics that can be asked in the SNAP exam, and that will help you to segregate topics into your strength and your weak topics. So when you're reading a question, also with practice, you will be able to judge if you can solve that question in 1 or 2 minutes. So again, Radhika, the answer is that it will all come with practice.
So one more thumb rule that you can use here is that when you're solving a particular topic, right? When you're solving questions of a particular topic, you can think about 3 attributes. One is how comfortable are you feeling while doing it, right? Like for instance, I'll give an example. For me, quant was relatively not an easy area for me, and within that also, let's assume ratio was not my strong area, right? So I could feel myself sort of getting scared the moment I see a question related to that. So that indicates that I'm not very comfortable in it, right? The second aspect is that how accurate are you in it? Sometimes, even though you're not comfortable, you may be able to solve it, right? The third factor is that how much time you're taking. So your decision making, your judgment of a question, where to bucket that question should be based on 3 of these areas: how comfortable it is for you, how accurate you are, and how much time does it take. And another story that I would like to share from my own personal life, which I hope would make at least some of you feel better, is that after my SNAP exam, I was going home with another aspirant who also gave the exam, and they had attempted almost 55, close to 55 questions, and they were so happy, right? And me, on the other hand, I thought that my SNAP did not go really well. But later, I realized that my accuracy level was better. So even though I did not attempt 55 questions, right, the number of questions I attempted were accurate. So I think this is something that you can also follow. That, yeah, you have to build speed, but along with that, you need to try to build accuracy also. And you can never judge a book by its cover, right, in a positive way or a negative way.
So I can see one question about gap year. I too have a gap year of 1 year, and I feel that was not a topic that was discussed during my interview. Yes, they asked me what was the reason why I chose to take a gap year, but that didn't hamper my interview in a negative way. So it's about how you deal with that question. Um, there might be some reason, some very solid reason why people choose to take a gap year of 1 year or even 3 years or 4 years. So we have people here at SIBM Pune who have gap year of 3 years also. But if you're able to justify what you were doing, if you're able to, add sensible answers to what you were doing in the year of gap year, if you have really used that gap year to enhance your well-being, if you have really helped that to increase your knowledge, to be more adaptive to the world, then that makes sense. So it's very important. So it's very important to justify the gap year that you have, even if it's for 1 year or for 3 years. And one more question that I saw here was about comparison of colleges. So I would really like to highlight few points. That SIBM Pune is one of the top B schools that we have in the entire country. And it is the flagship college, as Pooja has rightly mentioned, of Symbiosis University. So that is something that is taken into consideration, and our placement reports and our SIRP figures talks for itself. Even in this very not so good market conditions, we have flourishing results. We have flourishing figures of summer internship, and all of us have got placed at SIBM Pune, which is very creditable, and we're so happy about that situation. So that is the thing. And when you compare it with other IMs, so obviously yes, when you are in market, you are definitely going to have some competitors. But one point that I would like to make it, we are very better than many IMs that are there in the market. We are doing good with our placements, we are doing good with our student driven campus, we are doing good with our alum base. So all of these factors play a very huge role in placing SIBM Pune at the position it is today.
One factor that I want to just add on a little bit to what Gayatri said is that, you know, what we would suggest is that, try to do a homework or a research of your own in this matter. Because I can sit here and I can tell you all the 10, 20 USPs of SIBM Pune, right? But at the back of your mind, you can always ask, of course, you are going to say this, you are from SIBM Pune. So that is the reason why I would suggest you, or I would recommend you to do that research. Compare all of the colleges that you have in mind, right? We all did that. Compare based on a couple of factors. One will be the placements, which of course we all, that is a big reason why we all are here, right? Placements are very important at the end of the day. Second would be the alum base. Third would be the credibility of the college, the brand name that it has, and many other factors as well, like even campus life, right? At the end of the day, you're going to be here for 2 years. It better be worth it, right? So do a comparative analysis of all of these factors and then make that choice. Yeah, and also talking about the gap year, because I can see 2 or 3 aspirants mentioning that a couple of times, about the gap. And Gayatri has already touched upon the fact that having a gap does not matter as long as you are able to justify it. So one additional point that I want to highlight is that if you feel that you want to enhance your profile, you can still work on it. That is also possible. Having a gap is not a weakness at all, because there are genuine reasons for having a gap, right? But still, if you feel like you want to add some pointers to your resume, you still have the opportunity to work on it. And I would suggest you to watch one of our previous session. We had hosted an event called Nexus. It was an online event which is there in our YouTube channel, admissions SIBM Pune. And in Nexus, we have a particular session on building your profile. So I would suggest that you can watch that particular session, and it would be of a lot of help.
So thank you, Gayatri and Pooja. As both of them mentioned, you have to do your homework. You have to understand your profile properly. Uh, and if you want to enhance your profile, you must work on those. And even if you have a gap year, you must have done something. You must have learned something. Utilize those during your interviews. And SIBM Pune is one of the very few colleges which gives you that second chance. We believe in people. We believe in people who know how to make a comeback. That is what has been our philosophy. Our philosophy has been one earth, one family, one world. So we definitely believe in that. We give every person a second chance, and that's what you must also follow.
Also talking about the gap year, here personally, because this was a question which was asked to me in many interviews, B school interviews that I gave. So because I was working on my research project during my gap year, I had that one thing to mention. Along with that, some of the suggestions that I would like to give to people who are currently in the gap year period, or have their gap year for 2 years or 3 years, it would be really great if you could do some of the internships with startups, especially with the startups, because the kind of learnings and the kind of understanding of the business point of view that you get while you work with the business, with the startup, is really very enriching. So when you work with a startup, you understand the root causes, you understand the basics of all the problems. So I think working in a startup, or working in any company which is specific related to a domain. For example, I had a bit of interest in marketing and sales, so I chose to do those kind of internships more. Initially, when I was not sure about marketing and sales, I tried to do internship in business, normal business settings like business management only. So this was my point of view to understand where my interest specialize in. So once I understood that yes, marketing and sale is something which really brings out the real me out in front of the world, that's where I understand, okay, marketing and sales is something which I really want to do. It's something which I can do with passion. I decided to, yes, to explore that more. So that's where I decided to do more amount of internships into marketing and sales. So I think you can build your profile by doing more number of courses in the field that you are interested. Some of you might have decided initially that yes, HR is something which I want to do, or operations, finance, marketing is something that I really want to do. So if you have decided that, why not to do more number of internships or more number of courses in that particular field? And if you're not decided, why not take a general view of all the specializations that are present by doing internship or courses in not all of them but one of them, or doing general internships and courses? This would really help you to decide what you really want in your future, what you really like, what are your goals, and how are you going to align them in the 2 years of MBA.
Yes, I can also see a question on, do I need to choose a specialization? You don't have to choose a specialization when you enter SIBM. I mean, some of us had this inclination, like I was inclined towards HR even before coming to SIBM. But it's not a mandate at all, because you get ample amount of time to make the choice after coming here. One of the differences of SIBM Pune is that we choose our specialization in the first year itself. That is something that makes us stand out, because we get a higher level of knowledge into the specialization of our choice from a very early stage, right? So that's a very positive aspect of us. But you don't have to come into the college with 100% confidence that this is what I want. And of course, you have a major as well as a minor as well, right? So that is another factor. And the question is that, will there be questions related to this in the interview? You may be asked that, are you inclined towards any specialization? And you can be honest there. I mean, I remember being asked this question, and I was honest that I was not 100% sure about it, right? Although I was inclined to HR, I was also a little, I wanted to explore and really make that choice. I wanted to make an informed decision. Now, another factor, before I miss out, I can see this question on the fact that I've heard many times that Snap is a dynamic exam. So, how do I tackle the anxiety and face the paper if the pattern changes suddenly? It is right, the snap is quite dynamic nature, and the pattern does keep on varying. And that's the reason why we may not be able to answer certain questions will this particular type of questions come or not. But the fact is that the overall underlying basis of the exam is the same. The syllabus is the same, right? So what you can do to tackle that anxiety is to work on the factors that are within your control. So again, take the approximate syllabus, right? The basic syllabus that you know, and work on it as much as you can. Try to solve as many mocks as possible, and then even if the pattern is different, you will have a good foundation to go ahead.
As Pooja mentioned, I particularly believe when the exam gets shortened, for example, SNAP is a 1 hour examination, you have to do a lot of homework. You have to get your basics right and then come up with a proper exam strategy, which really helps you during the 1 hour examination. You must be calm, composed, and your mocks really help you in doing that. So once you're in the examination, if you're confident enough, whatever be the scenario, you'll definitely excel. And SNAP being a student-friendly examination gives you that opportunity, as I already mentioned. And someone has also mentioned about the past decades and whether you have an equal opportunity over here. See, academics definitely is the criteria. I would not say no, because it should be. Ultimately, it's a funnel. So it will definitely be considered, but it's not a huge factor. Let me say you that as well, because you have to understand that you are in such a phase of your life where you can decide at best about how your snap will be. So give your best in the snap, and you trust me, you will definitely get an equal opportunity in the GPA process.
Just adding on to what Shudha said, right? Yes, academics is a factor that, almost all B schools do look at. But the thing is that there's a very holistic perspective to it. So the question that I see here on the chat, I can see that, maybe the 10th and 12th grade marks were not that great, but then you have been improving. That's what I'm seeing. If I'm standing on the other side of the screen, I can see that there is growth in you, right? And it is not going to define you. It is not, because at the end of the day, if you're scoring well in Snap, if you're doing an amazing job in your GE and PI, nothing is going to stop you. So, keep up the motivation and go ahead.
So I can see a lot of questions related to stress management, not just during the preparation phase, but also if something very unexpected is thrown at you during the SNAP exam. So something very similar did happen to me during the SNAP exam. And for me, the LR section was particularly difficult. So that is when I decided to, take a break of 1 minute, even though it is a very long time for the SNAP exam. But I really needed that 1 minute to collect myself, to get myself calmed. And then I started to handle the other questions that were coming. So that is one of the strategy that you can use to stay calm. Just take a break of 30 seconds, 40 seconds, take a deep breath, and then start to tackle the questions. And regarding stress management during the preparation phase, so as cliche as it sounds, meditation did help me during the preparation phase. And also positive affirmations, like you can do it, I can do it. Even if something very difficult is thrown at me, I will be able to handle it. So I think self belief and meditation are something that worked for me.
And I think it's going to be different for everyone as well, right? For instance, for me, it was journaling that helped. Every day I would sit down and I would I would count my blessings essentially at the end of the day, even if it maybe 1 or 2 points. And I do understand that this phase can be nerve-wracking, right? You may be having a couple of breakdowns every now and then as well, especially because you have put so much of pressure on yourself, right? So, yeah, all of us here, in fact, have engaged in some form of stress management throughout this process. And I would recommend that to every single aspirant out there. Don't work till you burn out. Please do incorporate a little bit of self-care into your routine.
So as Muskan and Pooja mentioned, for me the strategy was a bit different. I have always focused on doing my homework properly, and before the examination, I really strived and made sure that I was completely ready before the exam day. And one day before the examination, I looked in the mirror and told to myself that have I given my best during the preparation stage? If I was, I will have never regret even if my exam doesn't go as well. So make sure you do your preparation properly. You give your 100% till the last day of your preparation, and after the whatever happens is not in your hands.
One thing which I really want to mention here, when you're talking about stress management, is because I had taken 1 year of gap. It was more stressful for me because I didn't have any other choice but to prove myself and get an entry into one of the B schools, top B schools out there. So I had this extra pressure. Like, I understand all of us have this pressure, but when you have taken a gap year, when you have taken that extra effort only for this exams, you have a lot of pressure on yourself and on proving yourself, on just proving yourself not to the world but also to yourself. So that was something, a lot of pressure that I went through. What worked for me was, at that point in time, is believing in myself and not giving up on any situation and any crisis that came in front of me. So talking about my cat journey, I it was very difficult because in the first of we have 40 minutes for DILR section in the CAT exam. In the first 20 minutes, I was not able to solve even one set for DILR. That situation was so panicky and so frustrating that it just my mind just went blank during that time. But I took learnings from it. I decided that this is not going to happen with me again. I'm not going to make this negative emotions control my mind during other B school entrance exams. And the same strategy I used for SNAP. So when I was giving my SNAP exams, I encountered with such kind of questions that were too difficult. So what I decided was not to take those questions on my ego, let them go, solve the questions which are easy. At the end of the day, nobody is going to check whether you're solving the hard questions and getting the marks or you're solving the easy questions and getting the marks. What matters is more number of questions should be right. Those can be easy. If those can be easy, why not solve the easy ones first. So that strategy you have to plan for yourself. And taking care of your mental health, I think your family and your friends plays such a very important role in your life. You should be talking about that more. You should be vocal about whatever emotions that you have with your family, because talking about that, communicating with your parents, and if you have the support of your parents in your journey, it's really helpful and calming at times. Also about friends, if you have supportive friends who support you in your tougher times, it will be really great for you, because you have that mental support always in your life to face any tougher situation. So if you have that in your life, you can reach greater heights.
I can also see questions that we are from a BSc agriculture background or hotel management background, and about doing or pursuing an MBA after that. So again, SIBM Pune has people coming from all different backgrounds. We have people from architecture here, we have doctors here, right? So you can, as long as you're clear about your goal as to why you're pursuing an MBA, why MBA is the next step in your career, I think there is nothing stopping you from coming to SIBM Pune. You just need to perform your best during the SNAP exam and the subsequent GEPI processes, and I think there is nothing stopping you.
Yeah, just adding on to what Muskan said, right? Every field that we are from has a tinge of management in it, whether it's hotel management or BSc in agriculture or psychology or anything engineering. Somewhere we are exposed to a managerial. We have been team players. We have taken on the role of team leaders somewhere or the other. So one thing that I would additionally recommend you is to analyze that. Have you played those roles before? For instance, in your interview, there may be questions about the positions of responsibility that you have taken, right? Or what have you done which is in line with the field of management, right? It might be very remote, but you can make a note of that as well. So, due to the paucity of time, we may have to move on to something that we have planned for you. After that, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. But we have something special planned for you. Just hold on. Uh, Hi, aspirants. Are you able to hear, listen to the video? Is the audio there? Please share in the chat box.
As the video is getting loaded, let us hope. Yeah, it is here. Enjoy, guys.
Yes, give us some time to, make the audio also, like to connect the audio. Give us some time. But yeah, as you can see from the visuals, right, it is about coffee with SIBM because we can see so many questions related to coffee with SIBM. Some of you have asked, when will you be there in Ahmedabad, right? Ahmedabad will be 2nd of December. We have all of these details, folks, in our social media pages. So I would suggest you to follow our Instagram page. You will get all the updates there, right? We will be sharing the audio. Just give us a few more minutes. But meanwhile, let me answer this question. Can you tell us the specializations that each one of you have chosen? So, me, Pooja, and Muskan, both of us are from the human resource specialization, and Shuddhasatta and Gayatri are from the um, marketing specialization. Meanwhile, tell us about which specialization that you are inclined to, if you have anything in mind.
Also, till the time that they mention about the specialization that they want to choose, I want to highlight one thing about the locations of Coffee with SIBM and the dates. So, we are coming to meet you all at 5 locations: Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, Lucknow, and Ahmedabad. On 2nd of December, we are coming to Delhi, Ahmedabad, and Pune. And on 3rd of December, we are coming at Mumbai and Lucknow. So, see you all there. If you have any questions about Coffee with SIBM, please do post it in the chat box. And yes, Pooja, continue.
Yeah, I mean, I can also already see, comments like very excited for Coffee with SIBM. We are also very excited. We have been talking and interacting with all of you for, so long, right, over an online medium. So we are looking forward to meeting all of you in person and, really interacting face to face.
And as you guys, as you aspirants have been looking forward to many resources and special tips, so all of those things will be shared in CWS. So look forward to it. And for the campus experience at Hilltop over here, you can look out and our trailer as well as our teaser for CWS. And definitely we'll get back to you in the CWS event with more such experiences.
Yeah, we won't be able to play the video because there seems to be some technical issue. But then, you don't have to worry at all because it's there on our social media page, right? So go ahead and subscribe, follow our page, and you'll see all sorts of videos and posts coming up. Um, you know, and also, yeah, I see this question on HR because one of the aspirants is interested in HR. How do you all know the news regarding the HR industry? So for HR, you can follow pages like People Matters, HR Katha. These are websites that are very, very useful because they are filled with news about the HR industry, the latest learnings, right? So that's something that you can follow. And for every specialization, there will be different websites that are available.
And for marketing peeps who are really interested to take up marketing, you can follow Marketing 91. It really gives you a holistic idea about the basics of marketing, about what are the industry trends, and what kind of job roles you will be getting in the future, and how technology is being implemented in it. And more such information will definitely be shared to you about specialization in the CWS event itself.
So one question that I can see about the timings for Coffee with SIBM. So the timings for each like each venue is different. So we would really insist you to follow social media pages. Also, we would request you to fill the registration form for Coffee with SIBM. We'll be reaching out to you through email. So that would be really easier for us also to communicate the timings for Coffee with SIBM depending upon the venue that you're going to visit. So we really request you to follow us on our all social media pages. The information about the timings are mentioned there. Also, we would request you to register for the Coffee with SIBM through a Google form.
Yes, we'll be sharing our social media pages for you to scan and follow in a while. Um, yeah, let me request my team to put up that slide on the social media pages. So meanwhile, I can see that I will attend from Ahmedabad. Yes, I will be there at Ahmedabad. Looking forward to meeting all of you. In fact, me, Gayatri, and Chudasita will be there at Ahmedabad and Mumbai, and Muskan will be there in the Delhi and Lucknow locations. So we are also excited. Yeah, there is this question on Snap form filling, right? So I want to just take 1 minute to highlight this that just filling Snap test form is not enough. You have to separately register for the colleges under Snap because Snap is one exam that covers all of the colleges under Symbiosis University. So I'm not sure about the other colleges under Symbiosis, but for SIBM, the last date is December 9th. So don't forget to, apply for SIBM so it's too late. Okay, folks, thank you so much for making the session so interactive and lively, and asking so many questions. And it has been wonderful talking to all of you. If you have any further queries, you can always feel free to reach out to us. All of us are available on LinkedIn. We are also, you have a WhatsApp handle, Telegram handle. We have an Instagram page as well. So please do feel free to reach out to us. And yeah, looking forward to meeting all of you.
So thank you so much, folks. Was a lovely interaction. We'll be looking forward to meeting all of you during CWS. And yes, remember, the coffee is on us.
Yes, aspirants, thank you for such an interactive session and thank you for asking the doubts that you have regarding CWS and also regarding SNAP. We would also like if you could come prepared with a lot of doubts about SNAP and preparation strategies during Coffee with SIBM. Will be all ready to solve all the doubts that you have. And also, if you have any other doubts regarding profile or about internships, about gap year, then that would be also solved. So, looking forward to meet all of you.